It's your boy Ken with the Anchored Reef. Today we're going to do something a little different. I kind of said I was going to try to stay away from the how-tos and this, that, and the other, but I had a couple people come to me yesterday on Sunday, and they had told me that they was watching and they had subscribed to my channel, which you should be doing too. Hit that subscribe button down there. But anyway, he said, yeah, we just bought the house, but we want to put a tank in. He said, but I don't know how to clean it or nothing. And I got to thinking, and there's really only three key factors to when it comes to keeping a saltwater aquarium. And there's so many hobbyists that get into it, and man, they start chasing numbers and get distracted, or something's not going the way that they would hope it was going as soon as it was going, or their numbers on their alkalinity or calcium or some, or maybe just inside or outside of the margins of where they should be, and they get distracted and leave this hobby. And it's very heartbreaking, because at the same time, if you just continue to let things thrive and continue to grow and build, we can continue to keep this hobby fun and interesting. And remember that it's about the fish and the corals in here. It's really not about yourself at to a certain extent. I mean, it is, but it really isn't. It's about the lives that you keep inside of your tank. Like, you are bringing the ocean into your home, and you have to continue to keep it up. Like, you have to be prepared for that. So I'm going to give you three key factors that I believe will help you to be a successful reef hobbyist, or just a saltwater aquarist, whatever it may be, whether you want corals or not. But number one is going to be research. You have to research. You have to continually be reading about the different fish that you want, the inverts that you want. If you do decide to go corals, you have to read about the corals that you want. All of these things have to be compatible. You have to know about your water chemistry, of course, and it actually opens your mind up to all the different possibilities of things that are in here and in your aquarium. And once you start learning about certain species and different areas you want to go in, and what you're drawn to and attracted to, then you can begin the process of building a beautiful reef. You'll get your tank, you'll get your rocks, and really it mainly comes down to your light and your protein schema. And you have to get that all set up, but that comes with your research. You continue to read, you take in as much as you can. And matter of fact, if you already know the tank size, the placement in your tank, and where you're gonna put it, then you can just get you your salt, a good quality salt. You can get your tank, your rocks, and everything set up, let it cycle. You'll read about the cycling process. You'll see how beneficial it is to actually let your tank get established before you start taking life, dropping it in that water, and expect it to live. It's not going to happen. You can't bring home the tank, put water, well, you can't, but not as a beginner. You shouldn't. It's highly advised against. I advise against it. It's just, it's real tricky. You have to know what you're doing, which again would be research. You got to research. You have to check on everything. See, are they all compatible? Do they go together? Let's just go with that. If not, then really you're setting yourself up to be heartbroken later on down the line, after you spend who knows how much money. Your spouse is mad at you. You taking out loans to continue to try to pay for stuff. It's crazy absurd how people dive into the hobby unaware of what they're really getting into. And it's really not that difficult. It's very simple. But you have to take in as much research as you possibly can. I mean, I keep logs of corals and water parameters. Matter of fact, this is my log right here of all the different corals that I have in my tank right now. These three, actually 4, 5 got added after I wrote this list, so you know I'm continuously staying in it. I have another log that I write in daily. You know, go get your notebook. But in the front of this log, we have, I mean, we have information here that you could simply take, download different species of corals that I've thought about keeping, different water parameters, aptasia, just different inverts, all kinds of information. You know, the different symbolic relationship, you know, with the zooanthellae and corals and stuff like that. You know, when you research stuff like that, you'll learn, and it'll help you continue to watch your tank, know what's going on, and know what to do in those situations. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to continue to let it run and go through what it needs to do. Like, this is an ecosystem in itself in your home. And then my second key factor in setting up this saltwater tank would be stability. Keep it stable. Like I said, if your numbers are outside of the range that they're supposed to be in, but every time you test, that's where they're at, then guess what? Your system is stable where it is. Your corals are thriving, your fish are active and not getting sick or anything like that. Leave it alone. Your numbers run at a different mark than the range that it's supposed to be, and that's why the range and the margin is so wide. If you actually go into the ppm and how much difference 1 ppm makes, that's parts per million. If you see just how much of an impact it makes, you see that that's a very wide range. So if you're inside the optimal range, hey, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Then you know your system is where they say it should be. But if you find yourself on the downside of it or the upside of it, look at your tank. Are you satisfied with the results of your tank? Is it stable? Is it staying stable? Are you finding yourself just chasing numbers because somebody told you that it should be at this number and not that number? Are your corals shrinking up? Are they dying? Or are they not growing? Are you not getting any coralline algae growth, or your fish unhealthy? You know, look for signs like that. But if they're stable, then stability is really key when it comes to owning a saltwater aquarium. You have to remember, you know, God's not sticking his hand in the ocean every day doing a water change every single day because this is out of whack or that's out of whack. You know, it stays stable. It takes care of itself. But you, as the owner of this reef, you have to keep that environment stable. You have to, you know, make sure you stay up on your water changes and things of that nature. But at the same time, if you're pumping chemicals in there, why would you turn around the very next day and do a water change? You just removed half of what you were putting in. So just keep it stable. If you're going to do it with water changes, do it with water changes. You're going to go a chemical route and start dosing and moving up into trying to pump your corals as full of as much as you can possibly get into them, then be ready to keep it stable on what you're doing. You know, you have to keep your tank and your ecosystem where it's best for you. Everybody's tank is different. You know, there are some beautiful tanks that run in optimal ranges. There are beautiful tanks that run outside of ranges. But at the same time, stability is key. And I believe that. That's why that is my second key factor into setting up a saltwater tank. And the third and final key factor on setting up a saltwater tank, simplicity. Keep it as simple as possible. If you've done your research, you found out which route you're going, you're going to do a predator tank, you know, have a species only tank, you're going to do some a community tank, you know, with corals and stuff like that, or just inverts and fish, or just live rock and fish. You know, you've come to that conclusion. Now, keep it simple. You know, take your money, invest it into your lights, your protein skimmer. That is the heart and soul of your aquarium. You know, you have to just keep it simple. Every pump you add, that's a pump you have to buy a backup for, because eventually that pump may fail. Now, if you take care of your maintenance and keep up on it, you know, of course, it'll last you a lot longer but eventually it's mechanical. You know, it's inevitable. It's bound to fail eventually. You know, they're not made to run forever. We would hope they would, but keep it simple. You know, simple as possible, as simple as your budget will allow you to do it. Because you have to remember, you have to replace carbon, you have to replace your GFO if you run GFO. Like I say, every pump you have in here, you should have a backup. All your wave makers should have a backup. Uh, Bulbs for your lights, you know, you should have backups for these things. Be prepared for anything. You stay in a city where you have a lot of power outages. You have to have a backup plan in case your power goes out. These fish, they'll survive for a little while, but eventually they boo-boo and all that, it gets to backing up, and it just creates problems. You know what I mean? So just keep it simple, people. Don't get overwhelmed. You know, at first it seems like a lot of information. You have to know everything about this and that, and all. It's too much. It's really not. It's very simple. If you start reading, researching, checking around different local fish stores, you know, different fish you like, make your list of the different fish you like, different corals you like, you know, see what route you want to go. You just want one big, beautiful fish in this fish tank, you know, to let him do his thing, then hey, that's what you go after. You know, if you want to do a community tank, now you have several fish to choose from. But at the same time, be smart about your purchases. You know, like I say, you will. We try not to, but we all do make impulse buys. You know, you're in the fish store, pull out your cell phone and Google it. Everybody's on their phone anyway, driving and texting and all that, and you ain't supposed to, but pull out your phone in the fish store. Check on the fish. Check on the coral. Is it compatible with my system? Is it going to change the eco? Do I have to do anything different? Just different things like that, you know. Other than that, it's really not that difficult to become a reef hobbyist. I mean, I want people to stay into this and continue to let their tanks grow and mature and continue to thrive, really. I mean, you'd be surprised at how many people start reef tanks and, you know, they put their fish in 2-3 days later after the guy at the local fish store told them, yeah, they can do this, that, and the other, and drop the fish in, and there you go. It doesn't work like that. If you know your own information, you've done your own research, you'll know that sometimes you run into some people at different local fish stores who may not have all the information that you would hope that they had. So if you do it for yourself, you keep your tank simple. Let your water run at a stable level, consistent level. You know, do water tests, different random times. Check how does it run at certain parts of the day. Learn to just look at your tank and watch the behavior of your fish and corals. This hobby right here, it'll explode in your mind, and you'll take it to levels you never thought you could. Because I did the same thing, and I'm only passing on this information because I would like to keep people in the hobby so we can continue to just trade amongst each other, or you know, you still get different kinds from your local fish store and things of that nature. You know, you'll frag yours and take them to them, and somebody else will get them. And now we're not pulling away from our oceans. You know, we're already dealing with a ton of issues already with global warming and things of that nature, you know. And when you really learn about different species and what's going on, it's an amazing thing. So if you're ready to start a saltwater tank and get it set up, you should be doing research, which I know you are. If you're looking at this channel, you researching, you're trying to find out, what should I do next? What should I do? You should go get you as much information as you can. I am not sponsored by Live Aquaria, but that's who I used when I needed to know about different fish and corals and stuff like that. I mean, everything is at the touch of a button. If you know the name of the coral, you type it in, it all pops up. Dan from Tidal Gardens, you know, BRS. My boy DIY, Joey Fishkeeper, he don't keep saltwater, but this man taught me so much in DIY projects to set it up and keep it simple, you know. I mean, I've switched tanks probably 9 different times, but I found out a 40 breeder was best for me. You know, I am going to be moving back up to another 55 just because I have an addiction with corals and I'm running out of room in this tank. So we are going to go bigger, and I'm going to bring that to you. So if you like what's happening here, hit that subscribe button down there. Like, comment, and share. And we can keep this thing rolling because I'm actually here to try to help you stay in this hobby. So if you like what you're seeing, like I say, leave me a comment. I get back with you. This your boy Ken with the Anchor Reef, and enjoy.